piece from 1960s. We're in the 60s, so we did a fantastic 60s one before with the food that was popular back in the 60s. I forgot to mention one thing, beef on toast was another popular thing that we had in the 60s. We're making pot roast, so that was another very, very popular dish that my mom used to make back in the 60s. I do remember very, very strongly. Yes, I do remember it. So we're going to put this in oil, and we're going to let this cook in the oil. We're going to let it brown for just a few minutes, and then we're going to, I always remember the famous words back in the 60s. I dig, groovy. Those were the words that we used back in the 60s. A lot of popular food that I keep coming up with, like chicken a la king was another chicken, no, not chicken a la king, that was the 50s. Chicken pot pie was another very popular dish back in the 60s. So, we're going to let the beef get brown, turn it over, then we're going to season it up, and we'll be back to the sensational 60s again. I remember those days like it was absolutely yesterday, folks. We put some carrots in here. I miss those days because my mom was still alive. It's just wonderful, wonderful memories of this fabulous, sensational 60s. Add some garlic in here. A little bit of oregano if you want. Just a little bit of oregano, give it some seasoning. If you want, you can add some salt in. Here we go. Now, my mom always added tomato juice in. Here we go. But this is common back in the 60s. My mom used to make this all the time. Here we go. Add a little bit more water. Add some water in here. Garlic powder. A little bit of Italian seasoning. And we're going to cover it. We're going to cook it for about an hour and a half. So back to the 60s again. This is really groovy. And I really dig this pot roast. That was some of the words that we actually used back in the 60s, folks. I dig this scene and groovy. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I dressed up as a hippie today. Here we go. This pot roast was very common back in the 60s. Did you know that? A lot of stuff. It's always beef on toast. It was another thing that was very popular back in the 60s. There we go. My kids don't even know what I'm talking about when I say I dig this scene and groovy. Red cabbage goes with this. This has been around for many years also. Put it right over here. And here we have from the sensational 60s. And all I can say about this fantastic meal is peace and love. From Deborah H. Home Country Kitchen, have a great day. Please subscribe to my wonderful YouTube channel.